Steve Oregon. And here it seems like you're the straight man for everybody else to shine in this film. I was just curious if that's a role you feel comfortable with, or do you still like delivering that snappy one-liner?
Well, I kind of get to do both things at different times, and I only think about it when I get asked questions like that. That maybe I should do it more, maybe I should do it less. But you can't. The person that has to be funny can only be as funny as the person setting them up. So it's a math problem. If you take out this part of it, then I was very bad in algebra, but I think it's an algebra problem. If you take this part out, then one part of it doesn't work anymore.
Zero-sum game.
Zero-sum game. But yeah, I get to be funny, and I like setting people up too. Thanks.
This is for both of you. How familiar were you with the graphic novel Red, and what's next for both of you?
Well, I hadn't actually read the graphic novel of Red until after I had met the director and read the script, and then I had a look at the source material. And the comic itself is really, it's really an opening act. It's a very short, sharp, gritty, violent comic, and I think the Hober brothers did a fantastic job of extending this concept and building upon it and making a really funny film. And it's got the action in it, but full credit to them. They've taken it so much further. And as for your question of what's next for me, I'm about 6 weeks away from commencing shooting on Judge Dredd, or Dredd, in South Africa.
With Alex Garland.
That's correct. Alex Garland wrote the script.
I was less than familiar with this with the graphic novel until I started talking to Lorenzo about it, Lorenzo de Bonaventura, who produced the film. What I like about graphic novels is that they already have a sense of melodrama to it. And while this graphic novel, I think, was only 65, 67 pages, it still had it's a great starting point, and it kind of informs you what you can get away with and what you can't. And I think that Warren was really good to allow us to add the other elements into it and try and flesh out the 67 pages from his book and really take it from one genre into another one. And I guess it turned out all right.
And next?
And what? Well, I actually just got home from some work that I did with Summit. I just worked with Summit again on a film called The Cold Light of Day for about 3 weeks in Spain. So I don't know when it comes out, but I'm going to do a science fiction film in January called Looper. Thanks.
I was wondering whether last night we saw the Valerie Plame movie kind of paired with this. It was like a big junket day here, which had a political content, and the CIA as well. And of course that had an explicit political theme to it. I'm wondering if you think, even for all its action and comedy, there's a political theme in here as well.
I would vote no. I would say not really. I'm personally not a fan of politically themed movies. I think you can just turn the television on and get as much of that as you need, and then go out and see a movie and be entertained. Because I think that's what we're trying to do, is just to make you laugh, or just to make you... I don't know if there is any real political content in it. Then, Rob? Ageism. Oh, that's good. Well, that's politically, and there you go. That's what I'm going to start saying now. Ageism is very subtle in this world, and because people are, if you follow this, because people are staying alive longer and staying sharp longer, and you can do your job much farther past 65, there's a disconnect between that you have to stop working, you have to retire, even when you're not prepared to retire. So there's that theme in this film. Thanks, Ryan. But yeah, what's in there?
Yeah, for me it was rather interesting in the process of research for this film. We had the great benefit of speaking with Robert Baer, ex-CIA officer, and he pretty clearly documented the difference between the CIA of today, which my character represents, and the CIA of yesteryear, which Bruce's character represents. In the old days, they seemed to rely a lot more on human intelligence. They would go out and recruit agents, and that's the way that they would gather their information, as opposed to today, where there seems to be more of a reliance on technology, and satellites and data haunts and all this sort of stuff. And I think that's one of the ways that theme is represented in this film, in this sort of new generation versus old generation, and you certainly get to see in this film which is the more effective of the two.
Bruce, since we're kind of on that ageism topic line, we asked Helen and Morgan and John when they were through here, the whole retired aspect. Is there a point of, or is there an ideal, if you will, retirement, you're looking ahead to? All three of them, really basically came back saying, just can't imagine for a variety of reasons, can't imagine not acting. Same thing for you. Is there a retirement scenario? I mean, playing golf, buying a boat, fishing all day or whatever, or, is acting got to be it for you?
I've never really thought about it as work. I still don't look at what I do as work. There are a lot of people that do work hard and have really difficult jobs, and whether it's digging holes in the ground or carrying cinder blocks up a 100-foot ladder up to a roof, or that is something that feels like work to me. I think defending your country and being prepared to sacrifice your life for something and for what we do, for whatever you want to call it, is a really difficult job. I think actors catch a break. Actors get to, because it's a real novel thing to be able to see someone like Eli Wallach still work in films and still show up, and yet I'm still as fascinated by him as I was when I watched him, 40 years ago. Hard to think. That what? Ernest Borgnine. Let's talk about him because we both worked with Ernest Borgnine, which was a blast, and incredible, and sharp, and thank God we didn't have any fight scenes with him, because he
yeah, we would have kicked both our asses.
Both our asses.
The same
right
time.
in front of us and go, all right, who's next? He really is unbelievable. Is he here today? I thought he was here today.
Yeah, a little earlier.
He's awesome, isn't he?
Yeah.
I was so excited to work with him.
It was a little shocking that he's 93.
I'll take 93 right now. 93 is great.
You know how he keeps in shape? Ernst?
I've heard stories about it, but I don't know if I can share it with.
Share it with us.
You'll tell him later, but yeah. But he is awesome. He's just awesome. Really great.
Bruce, do you know how to fight?
Yeah.
I'm serious. Could you? I'm not challenging you. Do you know how to fight? You've done this enough time in the movies. Could you do it?
What's your problem?
I'm a curious journalist.
I think I know how to fight. I like to think that if I had to, I could take you all out right now. but well, it would be with one of these chairs, actually, a weapon. I'd use a weapon. I wouldn't. I don't know, but that's a good question. I don't get asked that very often. But no, I'm talking. Have I ever gotten in a real fight? Yes, I have. Mm-hmm. I'm 2 for 3.
I think that's one of the more interesting aspects of what we do as actors. For each job, we get to learn new skills, and collectively, I think we have a deadly skill set that we can never use in real life, just by virtue of the fact of what you get taught from film to film. This film was certainly no exception. We were trained with Buster Reeves, who's a ex-MAA fighter, mixed martial arts. Right? Yes.
Stuart Wilson.
Yeah, Stuart Wilson. And for me personally, they decided that it was going to be a really fun idea to show me what the end game was. And so that consisted of, for about, here, laugh it up, because I don't think they put him through this process. For me, they had me for about half an hour, and they were showing me all these different choke holds that would effectively knock you out. So I was like, going, yeah, okay, good, got it, and just, they're taking it to the point where I was going to, like, okay, I got it, just to give me an understanding of A, what it felt like, and B, what I was trying to do to this man. And then they proceeded to roll around on the floor like monkeys for about an hour while they choked each other out. Yeah, to answer your question, that's one of the the fun things about what we do.
We just have time for one more question. It's the last question over here.
Bruce, I was wondering if you could tell us anything about Kane and Lynch, since it kind of got moved out of October of this year. That was going to be your next.
Well, it's still a great script. Still working on it, I think, would be my answer. Not me, but everybody that is continuing to work on it is continuing to work on it right now. Great script, though. Great story.
Okay.
Last chance. Anything, because I do have a couple other secrets that I haven't shared with you.
Get a picture of the two of you back. Can you stand up?
Yeah, that'd be great to have a